Welcome back, everyone. This is you, boy, and I'm here always with you, girl. And so I finally saw that ASMR for the first time. Well, like actual, like trying to get the tingles and all that. And what do you think I did? Did I enjoy it? No.
I I had a feeling you were gonna still think it's weird.
No, it wasn't weird. Like it wasn't. Like how would I put it? I guess it was okay. So your girl sent me a video. Was like it was called 10 top ASMR triggers. And so I watched it and it was pretty long. So I watched the first like 6 minutes, skipped ahead here and there. And I don't know if I was watching an ASMR video or like a commercial because like she brought out like lotions and this and that. And she was like saying, "Oh, this is my hand lotion." And she was saying like the name brand and everything.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't watch the whole thing before I sent it to you. I just looked at the title and I was like, okay, this should be good.
It was good. It helped that she was pretty good at using a camera and lights. Um, but she didn't give me those tingles. I didn't get those good vibes, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Well, I don't like experience it all the time. It's kind of just like background noise to fall asleep.
Okay. Just playing some jungle rainwater flowing.
So you just sleep in silence?
Usually, yeah. Or I have a fan running, so
Well,
yeah.
enough about that. What are we going to be talking about today?
Well, I was hoping you tell us.
Well, there's this little thing that people sometimes go to after high school,
Uh-huh.
but
Uh-huh.
not
Prison.
yes, that. Or so we either go to college, we either die, or we go to prison.
Yeah, that's the only option.
Yeah. So we're gonna be talking about the C word today.
C word. Oh God. Cancer.
Yeah, it's that bad. No, I'm kidding. It's just college is a tricky subject, so that's why we're gonna be talking about it.
Well, so do you have any experience with college?
I do not, but I know you do, so
So I went to a community college and
for like 3 months.
for like 3 months. I skipped a few times, of course, like who doesn't? At my college, you could skip, I think, three three classes in one semester,
Dang.
uh, like unexcused. And then like I think I'm not sure by the fourth one if you're automatically exempt or whatever. I'm not sure. I kind of forgot. I have the rules still somewhere. They give you like a little booklet and stuff. Um, but yeah, I remember going and applying was harder than dropping out, believe it or not. So applying for college is harder. And so I went to college and I went for one course that was English. Um, it was I was so here was the plan. I was hoping to get my basics done because I was in high school. I didn't think like to do the what's that called? Like when you take the class and it counts for towards college credit, dual enrollment. Is that what's called?
Oh yeah.
I didn't do that in high
Yeah.
school because I didn't think I would ever go to college. But later on, after high school, I thought like maybe I should give it a try. So that's when I learned about like doing the basics and this and that. So I had to, take those classes. And I was still kind of nervous about it, so I was just gonna like dip my toe in the water because I was working two jobs at the time. So I had to had, some room for that. And since college for me wasn't a priority, I just took that one course. It was English, like I said. And my professor, he was a nice old man. He taught at multiple campuses. So he was like traveling around. Um, he was cool. I mean, got no complaints about him. My fellow classmates, students, we all ranged from different ages. I thought it would be like a weirdo in there, but no, there's a few older, younger, same age as me. I think the oldest person there had to be like in their 30s. Um,
That's comforting.
yeah, and it was not bad as I thought, because I thought it would be like the dumb one there, and I still kind of felt dumb, especially when we worked in group projects. So we would work in group projects to read essays and stuff, and like critique each other. And usually everyone didn't like really say much to my paper. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, you're doing a good job." But like for everyone else, they would be like, "Oh yeah, you could do this or that." So I don't know if that was good or bad. Cause
Or they just felt like bad critiquing you.
yeah, probably something like that. Cause I don't know. I felt like I did fine, and I was very sociable, of course. There's this one guy that I was kind of irked at because he was trying to hit on this girl that I liked,
Oh, here we go.
of course. But I had no personal problems with him, and but yeah, that was my college experience. But the dropping out part, that was way easier than signing up for a class. All I had to do was go through the online thing, and that was it.
How different would you say it was from high school?
Um, I say it's not so different. It's more relaxed. I guess it depends like how into it you are. Like if you're like a super nerd and you're like go to like every class, taking like multiple classes, then like it's a lot like high school. But if you're like me, it's nothing like high school. It's more relaxed. It's you got a lot more room to breathe. Teachers aren't like on your ass all the time. So it's kind of cool in that way.
Yeah, I don't I have been going through this like back and forth thing for a year. Like right when school was about to finish, I was like, okay, like I applied and everything. And then like the week before graduation, I was like, oh, I kind of don't even want to do this. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do this. But like now that, it's summer again and school's gonna start back up, I'm like, should I apply? Should I not? Like,
Did you feel like you had to go and like apply to a college?
yeah, I did.
Yeah, I feel like our generation especially was pressured by like everyone to apply to college or else you won't get a successful job or this and that. And it's semi-true, but it's not really necessary for like, for life. I mean, like it's a good tool to use. College is a tool, I feel, to get
Yeah.
yourself out there, but I feel like too much pressure is being put on our generation to go to college.
And that's also the thing, like, just because you go get an education and get a degree, that doesn't mean, like, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get a job with that degree,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many people who have, like, a bachelor's and a master's, and they're, like, they're working, like, entry-level jobs, and, like, it's scary when there's money involved and, like, all this time. I'm like, is it even worth it? You
I
know?
feel like a lot of college courses are like to pat your resume basically. It's just to fill up some space on the paper. That's how I feel like it is for a lot of people.
Yeah, it just makes you more qualified just because, you took a few courses, which, I mean, obviously that's what those people deserve. They worked hard for it, but I also saw this tweet the other day where this person said that they lied about having a bachelor's degree
Hmm.
and then their like employer didn't even check and they still got the job.
No, did it say what kind of job it was?
No.
Hopefully it wasn't for like a doctor or something.
Well, that's different. Like obviously you need to go to college if you want to become a doctor
Hmm.
and things like that, but like not everything requires a degree.
Like, okay, so what doesn't require a degree? Or what kind of jobs do you think?
I don't know.
Like, what about like being a nurse? Of course, you need like something, right?
Well, of course,
What
yeah.
about being like a manager at a store?
I don't think that requires anything.
It could help. I mean, being more educated in like economics or something like that, it could help like run a business.
I mean, obviously, an associate's degree looks better than a high school diploma, and then a bachelor's looks better, and then a master's looks better, and so on. So it's just like, of course, it gives you more opportunities, but like, even now, like, it's been a year, and I still feel bad about myself because I'm not in school.
Well,
Why
that's,
are you
I mean,
laughing?
like, you don't have to feel bad about yourself.
I know it's not even like, it's just like, because I see like, people my age and like all they talk about is school.
Hmm.
And then I just feel like so directionless. But like, I don't know. I guess I would rather not be in school than be in school and doing something that I'm not even sure about and just like working just because.
Yeah. I mean, like, you could always try, like, what I did, just like take a course. And if you don't like it, just drop it, my dude. Um, I'm not
After
Yeah,
3 months.
yeah, no, I think you can drop a class and it won't like count against you, like financial wise. But if you drop it like more than once or more than one class or something like that, it does count against you, and like you have to pay for it and all. Um, I remember my friend talking to me about that when he was taking some classes to be a physical therapist, and he was dropping classes left and right, and he learned that you shouldn't be doing that. So so yeah. Um,
He learned the hard way.
Yeah, he just had to pay some extra money, some fees, but yeah, he's all fine now. And he actually he went for like I want to say like a year taking classes to be a physical therapist, but he decided to not become a physical therapist and do something else. He wants to open up his own business now, and so that's like totally different. And I don't know how many people do that. I've talked to other people that they switch their major a few times before settling on something, and I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do, to settle on something.
I mean, it's like our whole lives, we're being told what to do. Raise your hand if you need to go to the restroom, write your name in this piece of corner of the paper, and then like once we graduate, it's like, okay, do whatever you want. And I'm like, well, I don't even know what I want because you guys have been telling me what to do this whole time.
I never looked at it that way, but yeah, we are conditioned to follow and not take the lead. Like our hands are held, you know what I'm saying?
Literally.
Yeah, and we're not given the freedom. And of course, I guess I understand why, because kids make stupid mistakes, and some mistakes are like harder to fix than others. So that's why they have like rules and stuff. Like that's one thing I hate about rules. Like they're there for a reason, but I hate them because they're there. Um,
I know you don't like to follow rules.
yeah, I know. It's something I've been coming to peace with myself, like following the rules. But like back then, and even a little bit now, it's still a lot of bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, come on.
I think another thing also is like I know your mom went to college. I know our aunt went to college. My mom went to college for like less than a semester, I think, but
Hmm.
my dad didn't. And like I think that does make a difference when like your family history, like all of them have gone to college and like you kind of know what's set for you, but like with our family, I feel like it's just different.
You know,
Like grandma didn't have an education.
yeah, it's true. My dad dropped out of high school actually.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that.
my mom, she went to college at first to be an architect, and she eventually became a teacher, which is interesting.
Two completely different things.
So yeah, she actually like got like everything for to be an architecture, and then she found a job, didn't like it, so she decided to do something else. And my dad, he was a truck driver for a while, and all you need is a license for that. You don't need like a certificate. Not that I know of now. Things could change in like the 20 years or so he hasn't been driving. Um,
Yeah.
but like your dad, you just mentioned that he didn't go to college, right? And he makes good money. He fixes what, air conditions?
Yeah, air conditioning and refrigeration.
So if you need your air conditioner refrigerator fixed, call 999-1212-8742 and we'll
And that's the thing. Like people go to college for that, and he didn't at all. And he makes enough money to support all of us, but
hmm
like I guess that's just also like being lucky because he has been with the same company for like 10 years.
Yeah, he has sorority now, I assume.
Yeah.
My mom, she was happy that I w was going to college because like she always wanted me to. And then of course she was disappointed when I dropped out. And
Oh, I heard about that.
yeah, she was the last person, well, one of the last people I told that I dropped out. I didn't even tell anyone that you know, went to college, but somehow everyone found out. Don't know how. And
You didn't even tell me. I found out through your mom.
yeah, and you found out when I dropped out, right?
It was like no, because your mom had called my mom or something, and I heard them talking, and I was like, oh.
Huh. I guess moms always gossip, huh?
Yeah, they do.
But like, back to you, like about not knowing where to go. Like, are you like still thinking about that, about going to college?
I I don't know if I want to or if it's just like because I feel like I need to.
hmm Like, do you have a career in mind? Like, do you even want to get a job? I'm serious. It's a real question.
Um, I don't know. I actually was interested in like architecture, and I also was interested in being a teacher. And then my dad was like, "Don't be a teacher. They get paid nothing." And I was like, "Okay."
Well, you got my mom to talk to, She's experienced. She's been a teacher for a good long while. I think I was in middle school when she was teaching elementary. So, she
I
has.
remember I remember going to her graduation.
Yeah, I remember that too. Um,
Um, so like yeah, but no, I would like to work with kids somehow. Like because the way that I was as a kid, like I wish I had somebody, either in school, um, to help me. So I would like to help other kids, but
Now, like, what age are you talking about? Like, what kids do you want to work with?
uh, I don't know. Middle school's awkward. High school kids are awful. So I guess elementary,
Elementary, but like, what grade level?
maybe like fourth or fifth,
Fourth, fifth? That's not,
because
yeah, it's not too bad.
like first and kinder's too young.
hmm your, what's it called? Like little kids, they're the devil. I've heard some horror stories from buddies of mine about like daycares and stuff that they used to work at, or there's this one guy I knew that he would. It was like a pre-K, and that there's this one time that a kid like had pooed all over the wall,
Oh my God.
and like my friend Dominic actually worked at the YMCA, the daycare, and he actually taught a kid how to use the restroom. So,
Oh,
those are little kids. Those
yeah.
are little
Yeah, I don't want to
kids.
deal with that.
But, there's like stuff like that. But fourth and fifth graders, how old would that be? Like 9, 10-ish?
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to remember like what kind of stuff would you have to deal with? I guess just like bullying, because that's when I started bullying was I was in fifth grade.
That's when I was getting bullied.
So you have to worry about little jerks and maybe home issues like with the parents, because that's when kids start expressing um like their feelings about like their surroundings. And that's one thing I want to talk about is like nature over nurture, but that could be like another episode. Um
Yes, we have many topics to come.
yes, ma'am. I almost called you sir.
Oh, thanks.
And we can also talk about that gender.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know. Like I'm still Like it's already July, school starts next month. I
Well,
don't know what I'm going to do,
that's the thing about
especially with Corona.
well, yeah, well, and actually that helps with the online aspect. But that's the thing about college. It's year round basically. So you always have a time to jump in either in the fall, spring, whenever. Uh,
Yeah, I think it's just mostly like me feeling like left out.
Is it really just because like other people are like talking about college and stuff?
I think like when I think about myself individually, I feel fine. I'm like, you know, like because before like my mental health was so bad, so like the fact that I even graduated high school was like an accomplishment in itself, and like,
Hmm.
I should just feel like okay, like chilling out for this past year, trying to figure things out. But then I look at other people and they're like, "Oh, I'm majoring in this. I wanted to do this." I'm like, "Oh, shouldn't I like have everything together by now?" But that's like so unrealistic because like we just became adults. It's unrealistic to know like everything
About
about your
yourself?
future.
Yeah. Well, like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like that's like the herd mentality where you want to follow what everyone else is doing, and that's healthy and unhealthy in the same time. You're comparing yourself with others, and we've talked about this a little. Um, I've been like right out of high school, I've been pretty busy doing, stuff. And I think I understand what you're saying because like during COVID, I've been out of a job. I was working at a nursing home before and I wasn't essential, so I got canned. Um, but I've been at home, of course, and since I'm not going to college, I'm not working right now. I've been feeling like a pile of bricks, you know what I'm saying? Just like laying around doing
Yeah.
nothing. I've been trying to do some other stuff like from the home, so like to keep me busy, but I feel like garbage basically. Um, so I know how you feel. I think we all need a purpose to have fulfillment in our life. I was working at a grocery store and I was getting paid hardly anything, and I felt accomplished like with all the work I was doing there. And at the nursing home, I felt good doing what I was doing there too. I was basically steam cleaning carpets, and that was like day in, day out basically, clock in, clock out kind of thing. And I felt good about it because um those people, they're the elderly and they deserve to live, somewhat in luxury. And I felt good what I was doing. I was helping other people feel comfortable. And I was going to college, and that was, I had what's the word? Papers to write. So like I felt I had that was like another thing to do. And I was also during that time I wasn't just doing that too. I was also wrestling semi-professionally. And so that was like another thing I had going on. You know, I had purpose in my life. I had stuff to do. And so I think that's important for everyone to do, to have.
Wow, Corona really ruined everything. But also, aren't those things kind of just like distractions?
I suppose, but isn't a distraction better than sitting in a library with like nothing to do?
Maybe. I guess the only reason why I haven't felt as bad is because, I do have little siblings and I take care of them, so I don't feel like my life isn't meaningful or that I don't serve a purpose because I feel like my purpose is to help them and look after them. But it's like, well, after that, like, oh, well, what else am I doing? I'm not even like thinking about my own life. I'm just thinking about theirs.
Well, that's a noble thing. That's a responsibility right there. That's more important than self-serving. You have a responsibility to other people's lives other than yours, and that's a very noble thing to do.
And I feel like society, like, because we live in a society, like, if we aren't like serving back, like with the whole job right now, like a lot of people feel like nothing because they're not with a job. And it's not just like about money, but about like, working
Hmm.
with something. Like people feel like they're worthless because society makes it seem like, oh, if you don't have a job, if you can't hold down a job, then, you're worthless, you're nothing. And even before Corona, there's people who have disabilities and they can't be working. So like, are those people worthless? No, they're not.
Yeah, everyone needs a purpose. Like that's the thing about midlife crisis, you know what I'm saying? With like men, they have all these things. They have a house, possibly a wife, husband, maybe some kids, and they feel unfulfilled because like they're not achieving what they feel like they could be achieving. And so that's also how people get depression. And I'm pretty sure depression has been skyrocketing throughout quarantine. And who knows?
Especially our generation. It's been like the worst.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure. I remember hearing that our generation has the highest case of depression than any other in history.
Yep.
And I think that's due to like a lot of factors. One like being stimulation. Like our brains are always constantly being stimulated by our phones and things like that. That when we don't have that, we feel sad because we're not having that like little like thing in our head like giving us happiness, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what are your thoughts about that? Like why do kids have depression?
I mean, I do think social media is a factor, but I also think like economic status and stuff like our generation has to deal with like all the stuff that happened, years before us. And I mean, on the topic of like college, like everything is just like more expensive than it was before. Like,
There's
I mean, think about, sorry, what?
there's scholarships for that. Like for you, since you're like a woman and Hispanic, you can get scholarships just for that. Um, there's scholarships for single mothers. There's scholarships for people with disabilities. There's scholarships for people that have uh like colleges are willing to work with you. Like if you need a laptop, some will are willing to provide that. Or if you need a Wi-Fi provider, internet provider, they're willing to help you with that. So most colleges nowadays, especially like, are willing to bend a little to serve you in a way. So I'm not sure if that's like really a valid argument nowadays.
I mean, that's true, but that doesn't mean like necessarily all of them are gonna get accepted. Like for me, like what was it called? The FAFSA?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I say
um, I I couldn't qualify for that, but like it's just like in that awkward middle ground where I couldn't like qualify for it, but like also my parents can't pay for like a full like 4 years of university. And it's just like
there's
I don't
this
know, money.
there's this thing in at my community college where we took a test on a computer and I and it like depending on what you score, it like lets you know if you're ready for like certain classes or if you're qualified to take certain courses. So I took the math reading.
I took that.
Yeah, you took that too, right? The I took the math reading and writing 3 different days. You could do it all in one day, but I was like, I'll spread it out, give myself some time. And the math one had to be the hardest. Reading was
Oh
reading
yes.
was easy, writing was kind of hard. Um,
I took mine all in 3 days.
in three
I
days,
mean all in one day.
all in one day. It took me, I think the longest one had to be the reading, and that one, I think I took like 4 hours on. The writing, I want to say I took like 2 hours. And the math, I took like three-ish. It's kind of hard to remember now, but like I just remember sitting there, and the time kind of flew if you're like concentrated. But one of those days, I kind of like it was my off day, so like it crawled by so slowly. But you took all three in one day.
Yeah, and I think that's why I got such bad scores because like the last like hour, I was like, I just want to get this over with. So I like didn't even try. And then I got my results back like pretty fast. And my counselor was like, maybe you need to study. And I was like, that was kind of like my breaking point. I was like, I'm just not even gonna go. I can't.
Um, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something about that. Yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Well, I was gonna say like our oldest cousin, who's like entering her 30s, like she just now got an apartment on her own, and like for the past 10 years basically she's been struggling on and off, and like I feel like that's another factor
Hmm.
with the depression, like because she has a degree, but I don't know in what. Like she was going to become a therapist or something. And like even with like a degree, and that's like a high degree, like it was hard for her to be able to get a job. And that's what I meant. Like, it doesn't necessarily guarantee anything. And like, I'm scared of that happening to me.
There's like different layers to everyone's life, and from all of that, there's competitive work. Um, so that's like with work, and there's like many people vying for a position, and I've that's like another thing about our generation that there's like, people are taking a little longer to move out of their parents' house or like to even live independently away from like roommates and stuff like that. Um,
Because money.
money, yeah. I'm in Austin, Texas. There was like the rent was like crazy. I'm telling you, man. And there's also, you ever heard of gentrification?
No.
That's where
Oh,
like people are
yeah.
moving out because like they
They
can't
can't
keep up.
afford the place
Yeah, they
anymore.
can't do that. So there's a lot of that going on in black neighborhoods actually.
Dude, I went I went to a thrift store there, and like the clothes were like $30. I'm like, how is this a thrift store?
Yeah, there's the thing about Austin. They're popular as the stores, and there's like different locations. Like some are more high end because like the neighborhoods they're around are high end. So like the rich people would, give their clothes to the thrift store. And some are a little more crummy and they have like crummy stuff. It just depends where you go, in Austin for thrift shopping.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I wish college didn't cost money. That's my whole point.
Well, move out, get out here, move to another country.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go to Canada.
go to Canada. Exactly. People could do that. That's always an option. It's not a great one, but if you're complaining about free college and you want to go get a free degree, haha, and and just go to another country. I mean,
You act like it's so easy, just walk over there.
there's programs. Actually, my community college was offering a what's that called? That's like study abroad. And I remember posting that on Instagram, making fun of it, study abroad, and it's so funny. And
To you.
yes, to me, and like there's stuff like that. Like you can do it through vicariously through the schools, and you can get. Well, then again, I don't know how all of that works, but just try something, if you're really determined of getting a free education. Are you willing to give that up and move up to another country, for that dream?
I don't have any dreams. I don't know. I'm just confused.